We're back. JC's back. Popular demand. A driving license is a privilege. I'm gonna say over 15 years to get my driver's license back. Let's get into this video. What's up, guys? My name is JC. I am Wrong to Strong. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss none of my shenanigans. If you're part of my crew, mi familia, mi raza, mi pandilla, you already know. Get the keys, gas it up, súbanse a la Suburban. We're gonna take a ride down 7th Street and Oak, right past Band-Aids. We're talking about Phoenix today. You know, my dad, he's been there and he hasn't. Well, he hasn't been there. He likes to act like a dad when there's a new woman in the mix. I've told you guys in the past, I've had like over 10 stepmoms. I've lost count already. But every time there's a new woman in the mix, he'll try to be a father again. And that was happening at the time. And he told me, he's like, hey, why don't you move into my guest house, get on your feet, you know, because I still didn't have a car. I didn't even have a driver's license. I couldn't drive. I had I think it was over 20 grand in fines to actually start getting the process done from my license. And I wasn't working LA Fitness no more. So everything was kind of like just going out of control for me. And I wasn't taking the steps necessary to actually fix them or better them or nothing, you know what I mean? And I was like, okay. So I went and I moved into his guest house in the back of his house, and I started to walk to work every day. And I started working at a gym on 16th Street in Camelback. It's called Fit Training Center. You guys have seen it tattoo. Oh no, that's the wrong hand. Oh man. Kids, stay off the drugs. You remember that commercial where he would be like, this is your brain. And he would put the egg in the pot and it would start boiling. I mean, cooking. That's your brain on drugs. that's mine. So I got a job as a trainer at the Fit Training Center on 16th Street and Camelback. Jason was the owner of the gym, and he welcomed me with open arms, and he let me take a little bit of my clients there, and I started working, and I actually started doing really good. I actually started doing really good, and he helped me to the fullest. I hope one day that I'm actually able to get a hold of him and tell him thank you for everything, because I ruined that relationship with him. I mean, he was a little fucking bipolar, but I ruined that relationship. So one day I'll get to make those amends. But you have to be crazy to be able to deal with me too, though. Yeah. Started working. He was really big about buying trucks and completely refurnishing them. So, you know, he would buy older like K5s, Broncos, Suburbans, older ones, you know, 80s, like the kind of trucks that I like from back home from Chicago that are used like for rammers and stuff like that. And he bought this Chevy, I want to say it was a K5. Can't remember exactly what, but he completely refurnished it. I'm talking about painted it, jacked it up. It was jacked up high, big tires, new seats, completely refurnished it, like badass truck. And he decided to sell it to me. It was a $20,000 truck. So I started making payments on it, you know, and I couldn't drive it, so it was just parked in front of my house. And I would walk every day to work. I would take the canal and just take it straight through, because I lived on 44th Street in Oak, so it's a little ways all the way to 16th Street in Camelback. So I would walk or take my bike, and that truck would be sitting there and sitting there. And I knew that I couldn't drive it because I didn't have a license. Like I said, I still owed like 20 grand in fines. It was just a big clusterfuck that I didn't take care of my license. So I used to just sit there and just look at it, you know, and I hated it because Friday would come along and I couldn't go nowhere, you know, the weekends, and all I did was work. And I fucking hated it. You know, I hated it with a passion. And for him to even do that for me, you know, and give it to me on payments like that was like huge. I don't know one day what happened, man. It was actually raining and I said, fuck it. You know, my criminal mind kicked in and I said, fuck it, man. And I jumped in the truck, I turned it on. It had pipes, so it sounded mean as fuck. It was loud, it was jacked up so fucking high. It was like, it had beats in it. You know, I had a kicker box in the back, everything. And I said, fuck it, I'm gonna fucking drive this shit. I don't give a fuck. And remember, you know, I'm still on federal probation, all this shit. You know, I can't get in trouble. And I said, fuck it that day. I jumped in the truck, started driving. I just started cruising for going nowhere. It was, I think it was a Saturday. And I wasn't aware of the suicide lane on 7th Street. I just didn't know about it. Or I wasn't paying attention. Who knows? But I'm driving down 7th Street, right? And as soon as I pass up Band-Aids, I look over and I see it and I said, fuck it, I'm gonna stop, you know, get a beer. And I went to turn where a car was coming so fast. So this was in the PM because, you know, AM they go the other way, PM they go north. So I went to turn, that car was coming so fast that he smacked the middle of the truck and it just started spinning and I hit another car. It was 4 cars altogether that were in the whole collision. And the truck was, I could tell right away after it finished spinning. I ended up, you know, on the other side of the road. I could tell right away that the truck was done. I was trying to throw it in reverse and it wouldn't move. I was trying to throw it in drive. And my first thought and you know, I wanted to run. I was trying to get it in gear so I could get out of there. And one of the guys got out of the car and he's like, no, what are you doing? Leave the cars there for, you know, the cops to take their reports. And I was like, what the fuck? And in my head, I'm like, thinking like a criminal again. So I jump out the truck and I start taking a couple steps back. And I take 1 and I take 2. And I'll never forget that day. The bouncer of Band-Aids was right there on the corner. And if you guys, you know, live in Phoenix or whatever, there's a really big concrete wall in the parking lot of Band-Aids. It's about 6 foot tall. And then there's another one, if you jump it, that's about 10 feet tall that leads into a private school that goes all the way to 3rd Street. Man, I turned around and I started running. The bouncer was like, oh, you're gone. I fucking left. I jumped over the first fence, kept on running. I grabbed the second wall, jumped over, and as I was jumping over, I heard like the sirens. I heard the police coming. Obviously they're coming because there's an emergency and somebody, got hurt in the crash. But in my head, I'm hearing the cops and I'm thinking they're coming after me. When you get so used to doing, like I said in the past, when you get so used to doing what's wrong, you actually make yourself believe, crazy shit. So I jump over the fence and that's actually when the kids are coming out of the school. So I'm pretending to walk with these kids out, you know what I mean? Like it's a private school and I'm talking to these kids and I'm like, hey, what's up? How was your day at school? And they're like, who is this fucking tattooed ass dude, And I'm like walking with them, trying to blend in the crowd because the parents were, walking with their kids and everything. So I walk through the whole school and I come onto the 3rd Street and I'm already on the phone. I'm on the phone with Jason, the owner of the truck. And I'm like, yo, you gotta report that truck stolen. You gotta report that truck stolen right now. And he's like, no, I'm not doing that shit. You're not gonna get me in trouble. And I was like, dude, you don't understand. You know, I don't have a license, I'm on federal probation. I was like, I gotta go on the run. He's like, dude, I'm not calling that shit in. You're not fucking getting me in trouble. No. And he hung up the phone on me. This was like the first time that it took every ounce out of me to do what's right. So I started walking back. I took, I think the street, I don't know if it's Virginia or Oak where Band-Aids is at, but I started taking that street down and I walked down. And as soon as I got there, they already had pulled the cars to the side. They had pulled the truck. The truck was completely like fucked. It was bent in the middle. You could tell the frame was like bent. The guy had got rushed to the ambulance. That the other guy smacked into me, and the cop was taking notes, right? And I was like, "Excuse me, officer." I was like, "That's my truck," and he's like, Why did you leave a scene of an accident? And I was like, I'm gonna be like really honest with you. I was like, my whole life, as soon as I see you guys, I run in the opposite direction and I try to get away. And he was like, but, you know, nobody was chasing you. He's like, it was just an accident. I was like, I understand that, sir, but I'm so like used to doing it. I've done it my whole life. And I just kind of explained to him pretty much my life, man. And like I had just got out. I didn't even know how not to run from the cops. How crazy is that? Tell me, how crazy is that? When all you do is you see them and you want to run. And he was like, sit on the curb. So I sat on the curb and I was like, excuse me, sir. I act like a real polite kid when I'm getting arrested. I was like, excuse me, sir, am I going to jail? He was like, if you were going to jail, you would already be in the back seat of my car. So I got so relieved, you know, and I was like, okay. So, you know, he writes me a ticket for not driving without a license. The truck had insurance, but that ticket got me another 2 years from me getting my license. I was actually about to get it like 3 months from that day. If I would have just waited 3 months, I would have been able to put the breathalyzer on the truck and start making payments on the fine, on the $20,000. He gave me the ticket. I called my PO. I told him, you know, he asked me, you know, why was I driving without a license? And I mean, I had to be honest. I just had to tell him that, you know, it was a moment of, you know, just a bad decision. It's that immediate gratification shit that, you know, I was so used to on the streets that it was like now. And I didn't know how to wait, even if it was a couple of months, a couple of hours, a couple of days, it didn't matter. Like, I wanted it now. And I think that's a really big lesson for a lot of people that have done time or sold drugs or have been addicts. And, you know, everything takes time. Even change, like I've said it in the past, takes time. Waiting to fix your stuff so they don't add more time to it, because, like I said, having a license is a privilege. You don't need to be given one. It's a privilege. And, you know, like I said, it's taken time for me to be able to actually adapt, change, and become better. But I've done the work in order to actually get better. You can't sit there and say, why am I not changing, or why am I not staying sober, or why am I like keep going to jail if you're actually not doing the work to keep you from using drugs, to keep you from drinking, to keep you from going back to jail, all those things. So, like I said, guys, I always share a message, a story of my personal life to hopefully motivate you, to hopefully give you some kind of message, a smile, a cry, a lesson. Never glorifying none of the stuff that I did, because what's there to glorify about? That I spent 17 years in prison? Nah. That I was in gangs my whole life, that I didn't know how to actually stay free, that I didn't know how not to get nervous if a cop got behind me? I was happy a couple months back when I got pulled over on the 51, you know? I was happy to hand over all my paperwork, my insurance, my registration, my driver's license. Gave me my speeding ticket, I paid for it. That was it, man. It's not hard. It's not hard. You just have to do what's right. That's it. My name's JC. I am Wrong and Strong. Hey, don't judge nobody. Give somebody a hug. Stay in your lane. Live savage. And remember, life can be easy if you just live hard. Stay sober. Stay out of prison. Just do the work, man. I dare you to be wrong and strong, even if it's just for 24 hours. I'll check you guys on the rebound.